Hello, today we're going to be continuing the first chapter of economics, which is development. So, how do we compare countries on the basis of development? First, on the basis of education. So, you have literacy rate, which measures the proportion of literate population in the 7 and above age group, which basically means that it measures the people who are in the age group of 7 and above and they can read and write. They're literate. Then you have the net attendance ratio, which is the total number of children of age group 6 to 10 attending school as compared to the total number of children in the same age group. Then you have gross enrollment ratio, which is the enrollment ratio of students in primary, middle, and high school. Then on the basis of health status. Infant mortality rate, it indicates the number of children that die before the age of 1 year as a proportion of 1,000 live children that are born in that particular year. Then you have life expectancy, which is the average expected length of life of a person at the time of birth. On the basis of income, you have total income and average income. First, let me explain why we don't use total income to compare countries. Now, total income is the income generated by all the people in the country. But total income depends also on the population. If the population is high, their total income will most likely be high. If that population is low, their total income also would be low. Then average income is the income that is generated by all the people in the country divided by its total population. So average income is not affected by the population of the country. So now you have two reports that are important and you have to know. One is Human Development Report and the other one is World Development Report. Human Development Report compares countries on the basis of their health, per capita income, and education, whereas World Development Report, which is brought out by the World Bank, compares countries on the basis of their average income or their per capita income. Now let us discuss the problems when you only use average income to compare countries. Now let us look at this scenario where there are two countries, country A and country B, and they have 5 citizens each. Now, in country A, all the citizens have somewhat similar monthly incomes, but in country B, the first four citizens are poor and the fifth citizen is rich. So, there is a disparity among the citizens in country B. From this, we can understand that even though average income is useful for comparisons, they hide disparities in a country. Now, there are some NCERT questions that you should do. So the first question is give 3 examples when an average is used for comparing situations. These are very simple questions. An example for the first question would be comparing heights of students, marks, finding the forest cover. There are a lot of real life examples where you use average. The second question, why do you think average income is an important criterion for development? Explain. Average income is an important criterion for development because it gives us an insight about the citizens of the country. For example, if the workforce of the country is high, then the average income is likely to be high as well. If the workforce is low, then the average income would be low as well. Besides size of per capita income, what other property of income is important in comparing two or more societies? Other property of income would be a more equitable distribution of income so that we do not face the same problem country A and country B faced. There shouldn't be disparities among the citizens of a country. Suppose records show that the average income in a country has been increasing over a period of time. From this, can we conclude that all sections of the economy have become better? No, we cannot conclude that all sections of the economy have become better because, like I said before, average income is useful, but it does hide disparities. So, for an example, you can use the same example on the previous slide. With this, we come to an end of the first chapter of economics. If you did like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.